What's up everyone? We're going to try out some alternate division strategies in this video. If you didn't like using division strategies before, like long division or any way that you did it, try out these strategies. You might actually have some fun. What? What did I just say? Have fun with division? Say it ain't so. Yes, I will say it's so. Let's try it out. Okay, what we've got here is the grid method, we've got the box method, repeated subtraction, and expanded form. Let's try these out. Now some of these are just variations of the long division method that we're so used to, but it breaks it down into just a more manageable way of doing it. For example, if we're going to divide something by 15, we want to highlight that we have to break these down into manageable chunks. So that's what we're going to do with the grid method. Let's actually erase this and bring it down a little bit lower. And we've got 15 down here. And let's have our boxes. So we've got to start off with something manageable. 15 goes into 6. No, it doesn't. But it does go into 63. So let's start off with 63 up here. Close that down. How many times does it go in? It goes 60. It goes in 4 times, which is 60. You subtract that. That is into a 3. And let's put the 3 up here. And we'll add what's the remaining 4. So let's put that right there. And now what we have is 34. How many times does 15 go into 34? Goes in twice. Subtract that. Put this there. And there's nothing else we can add. So the answer is 42, remainder 4. You see that? It is 42, remainder 4. That is the grid method. Now it's time for the box method. Very similar to the grid method, but we're going to take the whole question and put it into the box. 15, let's put it in this box, which we're trying to break down as 634. How many times does 15 go into 634? We could easily put 600, and that means it goes into it 40 times. Let's subtract this, and now we're going to add another box. 34 goes up here. And how many times does 15 go into 34? That's right, 2 times. 2 times 15 is 30. You got 4. Let's add another box. And 4 can't do anything else. So that means this is the remainder. And your answer would be 40 plus 2, which would equal 42, remainder 4. That right there is the box method. Why don't you press pause now and you can try out any one of your division numbers that you want to come up with and try the grid method or the box method. If not, let's keep going on. Repeated subtraction is the next strategy. Let's try this. Probably one of my most favorite ones. It's very fun to do. We've got 600. Ooh, that was fun, just like that. All right, let's get started with this. What we're going to do is we're going to go 634 divided by 15. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep subtracting it with just easy numbers that we can figure out. We can start off slow or we can go as high as we want. I'm going to I'm going to subtract this by 300. Why? Because 15 can go into 300. How many times does it go into 300? Well, you can go into it 20 times. So let's subtract this. We've got 634. Now, we can subtract it again by 300 because that's the highest possible number that we can think of. And if it's not the highest possible number, that's fine. You just keep subtracting it. So if we multiplied 20 again, not 200, 20 again by 15, we would get 300, and we subtract it, we get 34. How many times can 15 go into 34? We can use 15 if we want, or we can go to the highest possible number, which is 30. And again, because the strategy is repeated subtraction, you could use any number here that is a multiple of 15. It'll take you longer if you don't use the highest one, but it'll still work. Anyways, that goes into it 2 times. And now let's subtract 34 there. And 15 cannot go into 4. So this becomes the remainder. Let's add these up. And what we get is the answer. Let's write the answer over here because we've run out of room. The answer is 20 plus 20 plus 2, which is 42, remainder 4. That was fun. Try that out. Press pause now and just think of some numbers within the hundreds and then divide it by something in the tens. And it's a lot of fun. Just start subtracting. The final method is probably one of my favorites. It is called expanded form. And what we do with expanded form is we're going to break down 634 into easy parts that we can understand are multiples of 15. What I mean by that is, if we're dividing by 15, 634 can also be seen as 600 plus 30 plus 4. We know that 600 can be broken down into 60, so that would be a multiple of 15, and 30 is of course a multiple of 15. So let's try this. How many times does 15 go into 600? And the answer would be 40. How many times does 15 go into 30? And the answer would be 2. And can 15 go into 4? No, it can't. So this would be the remainder. And that's it. That's all you have to do. You add that, which is now equal to 42, and the remainder is 4. Ta-da! One of my favorites, expanded form. Try it out. Press pause now and try out an expanded form question. Okay, I admit I went through these really quickly. I didn't want to go take a 15 to 20 to 25-minute video of making these strategies, so I was speaking pretty fast. But what I want to do is now use a different example to go through these. If you're having trouble with them, I suggest that you do pause and then you do slow down and try it out yourself. That's the best way to do it. So I'm going to use another example. All right. Let's try out 783 divided by 9. And I'm going to use, again, the grid example, box, repeated subtraction, and expanded form. And we'll see how it goes. Now, if you're using the grid method, you're going to want to write down 783, just like that. Just so you remember the numbers that come next. 783. Because when you write your box, it's going to look like this. You're going to start off with your first box. Can you divide 7 by 9? No, you can't. So it's got to be 78. What's the nearest number? It is 72, because you can go in there 8 times. 78 subtracted by 72 is equal to 6. Now your next box, you bring this over, and so it's 6, and the remaining number that you have up here is a 3. So you bring down that 3, and lo and behold, you have 63 right there. 9 can go into 63 7 times, and you're left with a 0 remainder. Your answer is 87. Now, move on to the box. It's almost similar to this, but you're actually using the actual numbers. So in your first box, you've got 783. Now, if you can't figure out how many times that you can get into 783, why don't you just multiply 9 by 10? Let's see, 9 by 10, you're going to be getting 90. If you multiplied it by 20, you would be getting 180. You see that pattern? And if you multiply by 30, you get 270. By 40, you get 360. So let's multiply by 50 and get 450. Let's say that I'm lazy. I also want to keep going, so let's use 450. You can definitely find out if it goes higher than 450, but for example now, let's use 450. And 450 would be going in there 50 times. Let's start subtracting. So we've got 333 that we're going to bring up to the top here. And now, how many times can 9 go into 333? Let's just say, again, 270. So you multiply that by 30 to get 270. And for sure, that's the highest it can go because it can't go in 360 times. So subtract that, and we're going to get 63. Whoa, no way. Now you bring up the 63, and 9 can go into 63 7 times. And all we do now is add all these together. 50 plus 30 is 80, plus 7, and the answer is 87. Let's get over to repeated subtraction. And I'm going to write this pretty small. I'm sorry if you can't read it, but I'm going to run out of room, and I know it. So let's do a really small 9 there, and 783. Now, with the repeated subtraction, you can go as high as you can, and you know that 9 is now a multiple of 783. But if we don't know that and we are struggling with our multiplication, let's go with a simple number. 9 times 10 is 90, but 9 times 20 is 180. So let's just go with that, 180. 9 times 20 is 180. And we're going to subtract this, and we're going to end up with 603. And again, oh man, we can go really high, like 360, 450, 560. But again, we're not good at multiplication. So let's stay with the 180. And again, that's 20. And we'll subtract this, and we end up with 423. And again, let's just do repeated subtraction. That's what it is. Subtract that. It is 243. Again, 180, because we don't know. And at the bottom, we get 63. And we know that we can multiply by 7, get 63, and we end up with a 0. Now, we just add up. 20 plus 20 is 40, plus 20 is 60, plus 20 is 80, plus 7 is 87. There's your answer. Last but not least, we have got expanded form. If we have 783 divided by 9, what can we break this down into so that we can get 9 into a nice chunk? So we know that 772 is a multiple of 9, but if we went 720, because it's 783, that would work too. So what's 783 minus 720? And we know it is 63. What? Did we just do that? 9 goes into 720 80 times, and 9 goes into 63 7 times. What's the answer? It is 87. Now, there are your answers. We've got the grid method, we've got the box method, we have repeated subtraction, and expanded form. Here, let me give you some examples for you to try out, and then you let me know which one your favorite is. 82 divided by 5 and 567 divided by 22. Try these out, try the methods out, and let me know which method you like more to use for division. Hopefully that helped. I'm not a big, huge, long division fan, even though I do like using it. These are a lot of fun. Again, my favorites are repeated subtraction and expanded form. Booyah!